Hello there! Today this Nissan Primera is falling apart. Literally. The letter P from the Primera badge has fallen off, so has the I, so has the E, and so has the A. So, let's put this thing back together. Welcome to CarSpyTV. Okay, this is where the Primera badge is supposed to be, on the left of the tailgate. And when the letters started falling off, I covered those that were left with this masking tape so I wouldn't lose any more. So let's peel back that masking tape and see what we're dealing with. Because if we were to lose any of these letters, the chances of finding replacements are extremely slim. Right. So, as we can see, we have 3 letters remaining, all of which are rather loose and likely to fall off. So what we'll do is remove those 3 as well and then re-stick all 7. But before we remove these letters, we need to mark on the car where they sit, because otherwise, when they're gone and the area's been cleaned up, there won't be any reference, and I don't want to accidentally stick them too high or too low or on the bumper or even on the wrong car. That would be annoying. So we'll mark the area with some brown parcel tape because it's got a nice straight edge. It will also stick to the car, but then peel off easily later without damaging the paint. So we need to line that up with the top of the badge. And there we are. So we can see that the top of the letters lines up with the lower edge of the brown parcel tape. And also, of course, we want the gaps between the letters to be correct. So what I've done to facilitate that is mark on the tape with a pen the top left-hand corner of each letter. All right. So we're good to go. So we can now remove these 3 remaining letters. Well, that one came off easy. And the M. And finally the R. Oh, that one's a bit better stuck on, that one. Hang on. Let's put those somewhere safe. Come on, R. You may as well come off and join your friends. There we are. Okay, progress. We now need to remove the sticky residue that's left on the car, and to help with that we're going to use WD-40, and that's for 2 reasons. Number 1, I know from past experience that it works, and number 2, I know from experience that it doesn't damage the paint on this particular car. We haven't got much left though. Hopefully there's enough. So now we're going to liberally spray the WD-40 over the adhesive, and then we're going to come in here with this plastic prying tool because it's ideal just to scrape away at the old adhesive until it vanishes. And being plastic, unless we go absolutely insane, there's a minimal risk of damaging the paint. So there we are. We have a clean, flat and prepared surface. Now I wouldn't say the paint feels quite as smooth as it does elsewhere on the tailgate, but nonetheless that is more than sufficient. Well, this is a bonus. We can play Scrabble, and I've already seen 3 words. Look, there's A and I, and my personal favourite, which I plan to put on a double word score, Primera. I'm really good at this game. Anyway, we now need to turn our attention to the back of the letters and remove any remaining adhesive, otherwise they won't stick to the car properly, and that would be a pain in the neck. Now this black stuff is the remnants of the adhesive, and to remove it we're going to spray with WD-40 to soften it up a bit, and then just pick away with a Bradle. I'm struggling to do this job, so I've put on these magnifying glasses, which have a built-in torch. And these are really useful for all kinds of things. I've used them in the past for changing watch batteries, and when building computers and you've got to look at those tiny little components on the motherboard. We have also run out of WD-40. That's empty, so we're now on the GT85, which is working perfectly well, as I can clearly see, thanks to the magnifying lenses. So here are the letters with all the adhesive removed from their backs, but more importantly, I've made a new word for Scrabble: pram. That's got to be at least 500 points. Okay, the big question now is, how do we reattach those letters to the car? And the answer is these sticky pads. Now, these pads are made by 3M. They're suitable for indoor and outdoor use. They're sticky on both sides, and they're quite thick. I'd say a millimetre or two. I've used these quite successfully in the past, so fingers crossed they work well today as well. So all we do is grab a sticky pad and then remove the paper on one side to expose the stick, and now grab a letter. We'll start with the I because it's a nice easy shape, and then pop it onto the pad like so, and then press down firmly, very firmly, for about 10 seconds to really encourage it to stick. And then what we'll do after that is grab a Stanley knife and cut the letter out of the pad. Now, we need a really sharp blade to cut these sticky pads, so I'm going to pop a new one into the Stanley knife. Oh, there we go. And now we just cut around the letter. And that leaves us with this thick sticky pad on the bottom of the letter, and in due course we can just pull back this white piece of paper and stick it back on the car. And now, of course, we have to repeat that process for all these other letters, but these will take longer because these are much harder shapes to cut around. This'll be fun. Right, we can now stick the letters back onto the car, and we'll start with the P. So we need to peel the paper off the back to reveal the other sticky side, and then pop it on. And now we need to press and hold this letter in position firmly for about 10 seconds so that it's really well stuck, and then repeat the process for the other letters. And there we go. Mercifully, no spelling mistakes. Now, just in the odd place, we have a tiny little bit of sticky pad protruding from its letter, but that's okay. We can just tap it back slightly with the orange prying tool. This is being super pedantic, but, well, we've come this far, haven't we? That'll do. And now the final thing, of course, is to remove this guide, which we no longer require. Off comes the brown tape. And there we are. So there you go. That's how to replace the Primera badge on a Primera, obviously. oh dear, I think it's about to rain and we don't want the sticky pads to get wet for about 24 hours. So I've taken this old plastic bag and some more brown tape and made a little patch to keep them dry. Brace yourself. Oh yeah, that looks fantastic. Anyway, before you go, don't forget to subscribe to CarSpyTV. That makes it easier to find my other content. Can you also please do me a favour and click like on this video, and I'll see you next time when hopefully nothing will fall off the car. Bye bye.